Hey guys, my name is Danny and I wanted to make this video after watching Lucy's coming out video in specific, but a few other coming out videos, and that just really inspired me to come out to my family. And I felt like when I was watching them that I could empathize, because obviously people in the LGBT community, not people who are supporters, but people who have experienced being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, know what that's like. And so I felt like I could identify, obviously, with their struggle and how difficult it is just to be who you are and have people not understand and not accept you. But as I was watching them, I realized that my coming out story was a little bit premature. I couldn't really say that I've came out all the way because I hadn't to my extended family, and today I took those last final steps, had those last final extremely difficult conversations, and they were extremely difficult. I'm not going to downplay it, but they were also as difficult as they were as equally as just amazing and supportive and relieving for me as well. So I'll just start from the beginning and why I had to come out to my extended family but not my entire family. My immediate family knows. They knew. I knew when I was in high school, and it was extremely difficult because my family, as well as myself, were evangelical Christians at the time, and that just means, to sum it up for you, that there's a lot of guilt in any sort of sexual pleasure in that religion if you aren't married, and especially being gay, because it's not accepted, it doesn't line up with the Bible and how other Christians think other Christians should live. And so it was really difficult for me to understand myself and feel like I could be punished for something that, and I was being punished, I was being judged, I was being, looked down upon for something that I felt like I couldn't control, and I felt that came natural to me but doesn't come natural to the rest of the world. And that was really difficult for me. My mom kind of caught on, I think, when I just wasn't really having boyfriends, and I would kind of tell her, like, I have a special friend, and she eventually, like, she started catching on to what that meant, and she didn't understand, and she wasn't really willing to understand. She didn't really want to talk about it. She kind of just wanted to pretend like it wasn't really happening when it was, and it was becoming more and more prevalent as I started to grow up and I started to learn about myself and who I was and who I wanted to spend my time with. And regardless of the fact that she didn't understand and she didn't necessarily support the idea, she loved me, and that was really awesome of her, I think. But politically, she didn't agree. She didn't believe that gay people should get married, or they should have the same rights, and all of that. So that was difficult. Even though she respected me and loved me, she didn't agree with me and who I am. And so that took a lot of me trying to decide if I was making a decision or it wasn't something that was so deep inside of me that I couldn't so fundamental in who I was that I couldn't even begin to change it. And I realized that after I moved away from where I grew up when I was 18. I graduated early and moved 2 hours away when I was 17. But when I had graduation and was ready to start college, I moved to San Diego from Colorado. And I didn't realize why I was doing that, why that was so important for me to do. My mom didn't realize either. She was really confused, and she was upset that I wanted to leave home, and I have had really a very privileged life. So why would I want to leave here? You know, it's beautiful. You know, I had a lot of friends, and I don't know. It felt like the next step for me was to leave. And so I did, and I got in a serious relationship with a woman. And her and I moved to Oregon, and we were together for about a year. And you know, I was trying to live my life without judgment. I was trying to live my life the way that I thought it should be lived, and my family didn't agree and didn't understand. So I was doing that far away from them, where they didn't have to witness it, and it didn't have to be difficult for them to see, you know. So I left, and we moved to Oregon together. And shortly after that, literally like 2 months, she left me for another woman. And that was extremely difficult because I didn't have any family in Oregon. I didn't know anybody there. And seriously, angels from God, like whatever you want to call it, people who are just karmically bound to be there, were there for me. And they took me in, and they became kind of my family away from my family. And they were all older than me. They were my bosses at my new job, actually, which is how I met them. And they were just amazing. They didn't even think twice when I told them I was gay and had a girlfriend. They just were like, "Oh yeah, like what else? What else is it about you? You know, what do you like to do?" And I was just like, you know, like that's so cool. Like I'd never had that before, where it wasn't a big deal. It was just normal, you know. And that was really like life-changing. That changed my perspective on everything, that there were people that would love me no matter what. You know, they wouldn't look at me differently. They actually supported me. They supported my relationship. They supported who I was, my personality, and they encouraged me to be who I was, if that whatever made me happy. You know, they didn't care. And so that was really amazing. And so I just got really comfortable there, and I didn't really want to leave. I didn't really want to come home. And I met Brittany, and who's amazing, and she's the love of my life, and I just feel so blessed to have her in my life. And she's nothing but supportive and loving and kind, and just one of the greatest people I have ever met. And we decided for a number of reasons that we were going to move to Colorado, move back for me for the first time, for her. And so over the past few months, I've spent more time with my family than I have since I moved away, because obviously I was in a different state and they were here. And so I just started like feeling like it was time, you know. I'm 21 years old. I feel like people come out way earlier than me. I feel like I was a little behind the boat, and just needed to take that hard step, and tell them who I really was and what I found out about myself after leaving. And so it's been leading up. I've been watching videos and figuring out how I was going to do it, and just if I even felt right about doing it, you know. And so I called my dad, my grandma, and my grandpa today. And it was really difficult because they are all, I won't say all of them, but my grandpa and my grandma are really traditional Christian. I just didn't see them ever accepting me for who I was, but I felt like it was important for them to know who I was, to know me, because that's a big part of who I am, is gay. You know, that's gonna create my future. Obviously, I'm not gonna marry a man. I'm not going to, you know, have kids the traditional way. And so I just wanted them to know that. I wanted to feel like a little bit of relief, them knowing who I was and not having some painted picture of who they wanted me to be. And so I talked to them, and they were completely supportive. It was difficult for them to hear, I think, that, you know, their vision of my future wasn't gonna happen. And you know, I guess it's just really amazing to feel like they do know now, and it's okay. And even though they might not understand, they might not agree, it is what it is, and it's out there, and it's on it. I'm being honest and transparent and just real with them for the first time in my life. And so that felt really good. It was really hard, but I do encourage anyone who is feeling like they need to do that to take that step. And there's a lot of people who won't agree and won't understand, but it's okay, because there's a lot of people who do, and there's a lot of people who will support you and will make you feel like, there's a mosquito, like you're okay, you know, being who you are. And I found that, and I'm just really grateful. And I wish that everyone could have the experience that I have had with it. I know that's not the case for a lot of people, but I just wish that for everyone. And for the people who don't agree, I wish that they would try, you know, try and take that step, and try and realize that it's not easy. It's not easy being gay. It's not easy telling your family. It's not easy living your life always when people don't understand and people don't agree. It's extremely difficult. It's extremely hard to know that you're different and feel like nobody else understands and nobody accepts you, and you're being judged constantly. And from the other end, you know, people who are gay, I wish for them that they would have the equal amount of understanding to people who don't agree. You know, because of their religious convictions or whatever, they deserve understanding as well. That the fact that they don't understand, it's not easy for them to just accept something that is so foreign and is so complicated and seems unnatural. Everyone just needs to try and understand everyone else a little better, and I think that that would be great for humanity, and just be more loving and kind to people, and everyone can just get along. It'll be gravy. So I feel like I didn't really go into detail about my coming out story and when I knew Um, it was really confusing, uh, extremely back and forth, but just to give you a little insight, if you don't understand at all how it is, um, for me, it's not the same for everyone. All gay people aren't the same. They're completely different, have completely different stories, completely different feelings. It's not a blanket. This is not a blanket statement. But for me, I realized, um, you know, after having those inclinations, like that I wasn't the same for one, and that I might have feelings for women. I tried. I fought it. I fought it for a long time. I tried to be with men. I tried to ignore my feelings. I was celibate for 2 years because I was just trying to figure myself out. I was trying to be a good Christian girl. I was trying to deny who I was to myself. And I did that for 2 years, and I was just exhausted. I was exhausted waking up every day and trying to imagine myself with a man and imagine my future, and just it feeling so like empty and shallow, and like the only reason I was doing that was because that's what I was told I should do. The Christians are really about like getting married all the time. That's all they talk about. I feel like you're gonna have a great marriage. Your dream guy is gonna come, and I was trying to believe that, and I was trying to make that my reality and make that my future, and I just couldn't. It wouldn't fit. It didn't feel right. And when I tried to date men, the same thing. I just didn't have the feelings, and not even sexual, just emotional. Like I love men. Don't get me wrong. I have the most love for my brother than almost any human being on the face of the earth. But and my dad and my grandpa, I love them. I love them. They're great men. But when it came to like dating men, I couldn't bring myself to feel romantically and like love in this sort of romantic way. Honestly, I don't have the capacity for that. It's like, for me, it's like, it just doesn't come naturally. It doesn't feel natural. Any time that I've ever tried, it feels forced. And the exact opposite for women. It's like the complete opposite. Women, I will fall in love with a woman so fast, and I will get my heart broken. Every time I've been with a woman, I've gotten my heart broken. It's just the way it is. Like, I just care so much. I love so much. Like, I'm just like my mom. I love people, and I love like people that I'm dating specifically. Like, I will do anything and everything for someone to be happy. I'm a people pleaser, but more than that, I just love with my whole heart, and I'm not gonna lie to myself. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm loving someone and it's not sincere. I can't be insincere in any instance. It's difficult for me to pretend like something is that it isn't. And so I had a few girlfriends and realized that was more for me than boyfriends, better for me. And I guess as of today, I am just 100% sure that I'm gay, and I'm convinced after years of trying to make myself straight that it's not going to happen. And as much as easier as it would be to live a heterosexual life, It's not in the cards for me. And I know that's disappointing to probably my family and the whole, you know, a lot of Christians, a lot of different religions, a lot of society who don't necessarily identify with a religion. It's disappointing. But I have a lot of theories about why this happens to people and why it's happening more often than ever. Or maybe people are just, I don't know for sure. Maybe people are just more open about it now and have an easier time living a gay lifestyle. But I think that from a biological perspective, during Bible times, it was necessary for the human race to procreate and create more humans. And now that's not really as necessary. There's a lot of humans, if you haven't noticed, in the world. There's a lot of population issues as well, and I think that gay people are a biological benefit to the human race and are just selfishness with resources and misuse of the land, And I think that, maybe relationships aren't always for procreating. Maybe they're for loving another person and for enjoying your time with them and just being with them and being happy. Maybe that could be a reason for a relationship. That's my reason for being in my relationship. We both benefit each other. We push each other to be better, and we are completely supportive of each other, and we deeply love each other. I mean, I've never loved another person more than I love Brittany, and I don't think I ever will. But I have a hard time. Like, I used to believe that it was a sin, and I was making a choice that wasn't good for myself and my family and my religion. But since then, I have come to believe that it's beneficial for everybody. Like, the whole human race included. It's just great. It's just a lot of love. And another thing I've realized coming out today, mostly, and in my walk, my journey coming out to my mom was more of a gradual thing, but her realizing what was going on, but specifically today, people who have to try and understand that someone is gay and they're not the same as them. It's difficult, and for my family to realize that they still love me regardless of that is just amazing. And I think that it takes more love to try and love someone that you don't understand and that you can't identify with than it does to love someone who is just like you and seems to be really easy to love and really just, doesn't present a challenge to you and your beliefs and your lifestyle. It's really amazing. It's really, like, I just feel more love today than one of the days that I feel the most love is today in my entire life. I'm completely sure of that. Because I know that's hard. I know how hard that is for them to not understand and not agree and still be like, Danny, I love you no matter what, you know? You're still my granddaughter. You're still my daughter. Regardless. And that's incredible, you know? I wouldn't have had that. I wouldn't have been able to have that conversation with them about anything else. You know, only me telling them that I'm gay and I'm asking for their support. Would they be able to be like, regardless of anything, you know, we love you. And that's amazing. I strongly believe that, you know, being gay is really difficult. I understand, but it's also a privilege because people get to test their love for humanity, and they get to try and dig deep inside and just really find their connectedness with the human race, and understand that we're all the same at that level. We're all humans, and we have the capacity to love each other. You know, it's a choice to love each other, and it's a choice to accept one another, and it's a choice to look past everyone's differences and love people on a human level and nothing else, like regardless of race, gender, sexuality. It's a choice to look past all of that and love one another. And I think that's the most amazing gift of it all, is having that opportunity and that blessing. I'm just entirely grateful for all of it, even though it's been extremely hard, and I understand how hard it is, how much harder it is for other people than it has been for me. I totally understand. But I just hope that, like, I got the inspiration from other people's coming out videos, that other people will maybe get inspiration out of mine, and maybe be challenged to love one another, or be challenged to ask for love from your family or your friends or whoever it is that doesn't understand you. And I just hope that they will, you know, that everyone will be able to dig deep and realize we're all the same. Essentially, we're all connected, and we can love each other, and it's a possibility, and it's happening. It's exciting. So everybody love everybody. I guess that's my point in this. Thanks for listening.